Back with our Chief Geologist, Adam Jones, this morning in Queensland. Adam, morning.
Good morning, Andrew. How are you going?
Yeah, good, Adam. Good to speak. We've had some positive initial soil sampling results out this week here from our Lolworth project. Two prospects in particular, Dagwood and George Creek diggings. Just firstly, give us an overview of these results and what they're suggesting.
The first results, I started with Gorge Creek, the diggings there. Um, so quite high results, up to 16.85 grams in the soils. What is significant about them is that not so much the higher grades, but the trends. So if you look at the figures that have come out in the announcement on the Gorge diggings there, you can clearly see there's a north to northwest trend overall. And just the higher grades just reflect that coarse nuggety gold. So, we do know from our previous sampling and prospecting in that area that there is nuggets and visible gold in the creeks and whatnot. So just those higher grades reflect that. And it's indicative, it just shows you that, the source of the gold's quite close. And also those probably reflect higher grade pockets of gold along that whole trend. Probably one of the main significant things really is that when we have seen gold in the area, it's very ragged. It's coarse, spiky. So that suggests straight away that it hasn't traveled very far. Gold's soft, so it rolls and gets hammered. And the stuff we've seen in that gorge diggings area is not smooth or hammered. So very close to the source there. So and then Dagwood is the other one there, which I was quite surprised. So I did some basic rock chips there last year, half a dozen. There's actually a quartz blow or quartz outcrop sticking out the side of the hill there, quite big. And just taking rock chips around that. Nothing high, but there's a bit of stuff going up to 1.64 grams over the whole outcrop there, or in patches all the way through it. So anyway, we decided let's do a soil grid over it. Let's confirm if there's anything bigger, and surprise, surprise, there is a couple of trends there as well, running sort of that north-south direction.
And Adam, just for those not too technically minded, 16.85 ppm gold, is that considered a good result for sampling?
It's particular high for soils. Most companies are looking at parts per billion. Like I said, it's coarse gold. So, if you get a little tiny nugget in your soil sample, it's just going to reflect in that result. And obviously, we've had a few of them go in there from Dagwood and Gorge Creek, so it's there. And but just highlighting though the overall trend. You look at the color bar chart there on those figures and in there, and you can clearly see there's sort of a north to northwest trend there. So, which has given us some sort of scope to have a look further along strike.
And Adam, just tell us a bit more about this rhyolite dike, which is just north of George Creek diggings. You've been doing some sampling here also.
Yeah, so one of the things which does get me more excited about the Lolworth project is there's evidence there to suggest that there's more than one style of mineralization. So the gorge diggings there, looks like quartz veins hosted, your usual sort of stuff like that. But then we found a rhyolite dike. It's about half a kilometre north of the gorge diggings. It's mentioned on the figure there in the announcement, so the readers can see that. But I did some rock chips there last year, and overall, over the whole lot, so far we mapped it as 200 meters long, 5 meters wide on the surface, sticking out. And in places there's veins cutting through it, and where the veins cut through it, it's hosting gold up to 8 grams in the around that particular area in rock chips. So, but then when you get away from the veins, the gold values drop off, but the rock chips are still averaging up to 1/4 gram overall over the whole lot. So this sort of is suggesting that there's other targets there or other things that might bulk up to a nice bulk proposition, bulk load or something, or it just sort of opens our eyes to see what other possibilities are. It's not just quartz veins, but there's these other dikes and there's these other styles of mineralization there which easily could be overlooked, but offering a lot of opportunity as well. The significance about it is that I did a bit of reconnaissance work last week along strike of that rhyolite dike, and yeah, I could see it still outcrops. So it looks like we can double the length of it in our mapping. So one of the tasks to do this week will be to continue mapping and sampling it, and hopefully some of the gold numbers continue on.
And you say significant progress also being made at a number of these other prospects, including Butterfly Creek, Reedy Creek West. What have you seen here?
So Reedy Creek West is another gold prospect. The guys last year, the field guys, found some significant pan concentrate sampling in a lot of the gullies in that region. And so when I arrived there a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago or so, we followed them up even further, and yeah, we actually found a couple of outcrops there sticking out with some quartz, and it does look nice and mineralized. But they're in the laboratory right now, so getting analyzed. So it's a watch this space, and yeah, pretty shortly we'll have those results. So hopefully there's some gold in those structures there. Oh, we've traced at Reedy Creek West. We've traced that quartz structure probably for a couple hundred meters. So across the next hillside. And what is significant is that we tested all the gullies and creeks that run up to that structure, and all the sampling we've done, visible gold in the gold pan. So there's something there. So yeah, and then Butterfly Creek is probably one of the other exciting places, which we'll be doing further work there over the next couple of weeks. So the guys have done significant soil sampling there, quite broad grids over the whole area there. Yeah, as we've announced before, there's stream sampling coming off this particular ridge line there in Butterfly Creek, going up to 900 parts per million plus. Bit of visible gold around, and yeah, same thing. We've seen some quartz veining on top of the hill there. Got a few rock chips from there, and yeah, there's going to be some further trenching too there. So one of the biggest things we've seen is the bedrock's not too deep. So, but to get an idea of the dip and the strike of all these structures, we got to do a bit of excavation work. So, yeah, so it'll be just a little bit of shallow digging there over the next week or so, and we'll get some more rock chips and see what's going on there.
And I suppose watch this space also, Adam, in terms of next steps. A big focus will shift towards the eastern side of the tenement, where mapping has indicated the presence of pegmatite intrusions. This could be interesting.
We've made plans to go in there, and we'll be going in there straight away in the next few days. So yeah, and so the first thing we'll be doing is doing a straight stream pan concentrate sampling. We know it works really well for picking up on anything like the critical minerals, gold, niobium, tantalum. Yeah, so I suppose one of my things I'm finding quite intriguing about that eastern area is previous mapping, historic mapping from the Geological Survey of Queensland indicate that there's pegmatites in there which are the same or very similar to our Oakey Creek prospect, which readers who have been following us for the last couple of years know that we found significant niobium and tantalum in those streams around that particular area. So yeah, going forward with the niobium, yeah, we'll be, we just want to, the first thing is see if we can find some broad areas where it's sitting, and then have a plan of attack to get a bit more boots on ground in there to really find where these things are actually outcropping, and see if these things are got some hosting something significant or not.
Are there other well-known exploration mining companies operating within or near to the vicinity where we are?
There's a project just to the east of immediately on our east of our boundary of our tenement area of our 1,000 square k's, which is the continuation of the mountain range there, and they're looking at kaolin and gold as well. So, that, yeah, so they've been looking at that, and then to the south of us, immediately to the south of us, there's a lot of prospects down there which have had a fair bit of soil sampling done, some drilling done. So there's there's stuff around. So but one of the things I've found too is and especially the thing about where we're working is that no one's done anything serious since the 1980s, and it was mainly because of access. You know, it's only probably been in the last 15 years that access into the mountain range there has been possible in a car. So you know, and flying helicopters to do sampling is not cheap. So
Hmm.
so we're fortunate that we're just here at the right time. And you know, even the landowners told me, they said we're probably the first people to actually do something serious in there. So hopefully everything's paying up. Well, it's looking like it's paying off so far. So so hopefully we just go above and beyond, and hopefully we'll have a few good things there to talk
Hmm.
about.
Great to see you, Adam. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Andrew.